Hello, today I'm going to be making some herbal infusions, or maybe just one herbal infusion. This is a collaboration with Rachel from Spend Smart Live Happy, and we're just going to show you how to use herbs to make infusions that you might want to use either for a base for body care products or for medicinal salves or even just for culinary use. So I'll explain what I'm picking, when I'm picking, and why I've chosen those particular plants and what I'm going to use them for. If there's anybody else out there that wants to get involved in the collaboration, please just make your own video, mention this channel, Brighid's Garden, mention Rachel's channel, Spend Smart Live Happy, and please put links to those channels in your description, and just in your title put Herbal Infusions collaboration. And then when you've done your video, please link it into the comments from this video so that other people that are watching can find you and have a look at your video as well. Okay, let's get on with it and see what we can find. I'm starting with some broadleaf willow herb. Actually, I might as well just pick more than that. I normally just pick the tops if I'm eating them, but as I'm going to use it for an infusion, I can pick more. And I've chosen broadleaf willow herb because it's a natural antiseptic. It has antibacterial properties and it's anti-inflammatory as well. And it is good for the skin. It's often added to skincare products. So what I'm actually going to be making is a medicinal ointment for cuts and grazes and scratches, so that should fit nicely. I don't need too much, that'll probably do, because I'm just going to fill a jam jar and make enough to do a small pot, because I'm not going to be using it that often, and I'll make it fresh as I go along. I don't want to have a big jar of it or lots of jars of it that are hanging around for years, because the qualities will then reduce. The next thing I'm using is some clover, and again, clover is anti-inflammatory and is good for skin complaints, so we will make use of that in our little herbal salve. I've not actually made this salve before, so I'll have to report back and let you know how effective it is, but hopefully it should do the job nicely. And I think that might even be enough. There, okay, well that looks a bit, try and pick the nice ones. There we go. Next on the list is Nettles, and because I haven't got any gloves on, I shan't pick them at this moment in time. So I'll pick them later when I've got some gloves. But Nettles also have pain-killing qualities, so that should be helpful, and it promotes wound healing as well as having the other anti-inflammatory, and actually it's an antihistamine as well. So that should be a good one, and that is actually a good base for most skincare products. So if you're making any skincare products, I think Nettles is a good one to make sure is in there. And of course, you don't have to use lots of different herbs in your preparation. You could use just one or two. Choose which one you think would be most useful for the job you want it to do, and see how you get on with it. Next on the list we've got Herb Robert, so I'll use the flowers and the leaves. And this is a really excellent herb. It's got lots of really useful properties, and as well as being anti-inflammatory and antibiotic, it's antiviral as well. So hopefully this will be a really good addition to the salve. It is actually recommended for use on skin conditions for bruises and helps to heal. So this is a good one to add. It's also coincidentally not necessarily applicable to this particular salve, but I probably will be making use of it again in a different salve because it's good for rheumatic pain. So I'm kind of hoping it's got some pain killing properties that will help in this particular salve. And last on the list is some Comfrey. I shall just take a few little leaves because they're quite big, these leaves. And Comfrey is well known for its wound healing properties. Its traditional name is bone knit because it actually helps to heal broken bones. So hopefully this will be a good addition again to the herbal salve. With Comfrey, because it is so effective at healing wounds, you do need to make sure that you have thoroughly cleaned any wound before putting Comfrey preparation on it, because otherwise it will heal so rapidly you might be in danger of trapping in any infection that's lingering beneath the surface. So make sure you thoroughly clean any wounds, which is a good course of action anyway. And all the leaves that I've picked today you can use to make a salve. So just have a little view of the garden while I'm chatting to you. Sorry, not a salve, a tea. So you could make them into a wash. So if you've got a wound that needs cleaning, you could pick some nettles, for example, or whatever, any of the herbs that I've picked today. Willowherb, Herb Robert, plantain's another good one, and you can use that to wash out the wound, and because they've got antiseptic qualities, that will help with the cleaning process. And then you can put some Comfrey on. I've got some nettles here that I actually picked yesterday, so I'm going to use these because they've drooped now, the stings aren't quite as bad. The thing is with nettles though, if you grab them sort of quite firmly like that they don't sting as much. Little top tip for you there. Okay, so here's my basket with quite a lot of herbs in. I probably won't need that many, so I'll go and get on and make my little jam jar full and show you what's next on the agenda. Okay, here we are inside, and I'm going to show you the herbal infusion process, if you like. Sorry that I'm decapitated, my camera setup isn't the best. One day I might have a better camera setup, but for now you're just going to have to listen to my disembodied voice. Okay, so I'm just going to pop in some of the leaves into this jar, and I have washed this jar thoroughly and sterilised it, but all I've done to sterilise it is I've just poured boiling water in it. You might want to be a little bit more thorough than that with your sterilising. So I'll put some nettle in, I'll put some Comfrey in now. There are various different ways of sterilising your equipment. You can boil it, you can put it in the oven, and you can use alcohol, you can use a proprietary steriliser, so maybe even baby sterilising liquid like Milton fluid. But it is important to make sure that your equipment is reasonably clean and sterilised before you start. So I've got some herb Robert there. Just throw everything in, bits of everything. What I'll do is I will list all the herbs that I've used in the description, just to remind you what I've used. Okay, I'm going to more or less fill this jar, but as I said, you don't need any more than that. That's like even quite a lot just for a little pot of herbal salve, so I probably will give some of that away as well. Make sure we get plenty of that nettle in, because that's a good painkiller, as I mentioned. Okay. Now to use, the oil that I'm going to use is just olive oil. It's best to use extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed if possible, because that has the most goodness in it, and olive oil is a good oil for skincare in its own right. It's very soothing. You can get various different oils online that you can use for cosmetic use. They're more expensive than your olive oil that you get from the food stores, but if you prefer to use a different oil, you can. Almond oil is one that's favoured the most because it has a good light texture to it, and it absorbs other flavourings, I suppose you would say, quite well. But that's quite expensive, and obviously it's no good if you've got a nut allergy. So that's my infusion, and what I'm going to do is leave that somewhere warm for about a month. You need to make sure you check on it every couple of days, just to make sure that all of the greenery is below the level of the oil, otherwise it might go mouldy, and then that will just ruin your infusion. So whenever you see it, every day or two, just give it a shake to mix it up and make sure all of those leaves are underneath the oil. And then after a month, I will strain all of the greenery out of it, and I will blend it with some beeswax to make it into an ointment. So if you'd like to see that stage, let me know in the comments below, and I'll make another video. And that's it for today. Hope you excuse my messy kitchen behind me, but we're living real life here. So I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.